just a silly game. Sing with me if you know it. That forces you to act this way. Forces you to scream my name. Then pretend that you can't stay. Tell me who I had to be to gain some reciprocity. See, no one loves you more than me, and no one ever will. Come on, y'all. I can sing X Factor to y'all all night long. Why did I choose this song tonight? I know y'all like, hey, is Professor Keys going through something? Has someone broke Professor Keys' heart? I need a husband to do that, honey. But no, how did this song start? It could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, but we both end up with scars. When it comes down to understanding credit, doesn't it seem like a battle sometimes? You'd be like, credit score, I just want to love you. I want to love you up to 100 with my business credit score. I want to love you all the way up to 750 and 800 on my personal credit score. But you make it hard, right? Your credit score is that ex, it just won't go away. You broke up 2 months ago. The ex is still calling, talking about WYD, what you doing? And because he was so cute and the thing was so good, you just keep picking up the phone and trying and trying and trying and trying and trying again. Well, today what we're going to do, y'all, what we're going to do is we gonna make the hard thing simple. Let me say that one more time. We are going to make the hard thing simple, right? So that Lauryn doesn't have to sing about, look, it could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. 72% of people, actually, let me backtrack that. 72% of entrepreneurs do not know what their business credit score is. In fact, 72% of entrepreneurs don't even know that their business credit profile could matter as they seek to qualify for additional funding to resource their business. The purpose of this live is to deconstruct the complexities of a business credit profile and to level up your understanding of the business credit score so that when you go as your business to apply for a trade line, to apply for a credit card, to apply for a business loan, or even to file a business underneath a corporation so you can go out and buy property and get great terms on any loan that you get so that you can buy assets, right? To resource generations to come. We're going to talk about how you can do that and do that in a way that is exceedingly and abundantly above all levels of understanding. So let's talk about business credit. So it's important for you to know that there are 2 different credit profiles and 2 different credit scores that you can earn as an individual and separately as a business owner and an entrepreneur. It is your credit score, that is one, that ranges from 300 to 800 plus, and that is your business credit score, and we'll learn about those ranges a little bit later. It's important for you to understand the ways in which you access that information and apply it to leveling up your personal life and also leveling up the access to capital for your enterprise, okay? So I wanted to start off with that. As business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people, you should aspire to always be, right, within a good space where a 3-digit code and in the business credit score joint in low 2 figures does not exclude you from benefits that you know you have claimed, right? Some of you all started 2021 by saying this is your last year working 9 to 5 for a separate but unequal paycheck. Some of you all started 2021 saying that you're going to have an 800 personal credit score. So what we're going to do is we're going to claim in 2021 that everybody listening to this live is going to have a 75 or higher business credit score. Now, what are some of the benefits of having a business credit score, right? So you hear about personal credit, you hear people talking about business credit. If you pay attention to your business credit, then what are the opportunities if you can get over the obstacles typical of understanding the complexities of how this score is constructed. Well, first, with your business credit, it helps you limit your liability. So with a business credit profile, right, if you're able to establish business credit, then with your business profile, you can apply for funding, you can approach creditors and credit issuers, right, with a different posture, and it allows for you to live your life as a person, right? So, oh, I'm over here, Professor Keys, right, I want to use my personal credit to buy a house, but then also, right, separately, right, Professor Kezia MW, I'm gonna put the whole government on there, Professor Kezia MW, with my business credit to say, I need access to a trade line, right? Because my business needs $30,000 in order to seed it with the capital it needs to 3x it, right? Get $90,000 in revenue. So it allows you to separate the opportunities and assets that exist to you by leveraging your personal score for personal assets and your business credit score for business assets. Next, it allows you to conserve your cash flow. So let's just think about how credit works, right? Some people buy credit with money that they have not yet earned, with the promise that they will pay that money back at a later date, right? Some of y'all done this for good, right? So y'all like, you know what? I'm about to get paid, but I need to go ahead. I need to drive over BM's house. You know, we talked about BM and BD, right? The mother of my child, the father of my child. It's baby mom and baby daddy, right? I got to get over there. It's going to cost me $15 in gas money, but it's Thursday and Friday. My direct deposit don't hit till Friday. So you run that little credit card across, boop, 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 right? Knowing that on Friday you're going to pay it back, right? So like when it comes down to some conserving cash flow on the business side, it is, I have access to borrow money that I can leverage, right, for my business in the anticipation of future revenue. On the personal side, in a good way, right? That looks like, let me pay my light bill, let me pay my water bill, let me go ahead and pay my rent, pay my mortgage on a Thursday, direct deposit happens on a Friday, boom, you're good. All right, so it allows you to conserve your cash flow and put your cash flow to work in the meantime, in between time. Next, it allows for you to get better interest rates. So the higher your business credit score, the easier it will be for you to get interest on any amount of money that you borrow that's much lower. And we already know when there is no interest and when there is low interest, then the money is cheaper to hold, right? Just think of interest rate as somebody saying, yeah, you can hold my money before a fee. Right? It's like that uncle that asks you, hey, yo, can I hold $10? Tell him you can hold $10 if I could pull up to your house next week and get 20, right? See if he kind of backs up. Probably not. He gonna take that $10 and you gonna pull up to his door. He gonna be over at his girlfriend's house. But you know, that's none of my business. So next, it allows for you to build your business credit in such a way where you can exercise your credit to become stronger, right? So if your credit limitations are at, let's say, $5,000, you build your credit muscle so that it can continue to increase, right? $7,000 to $7,500 to $10,000, all right? And then last, having good business credit allows you to put working capital to work, right? So I always like to say, if your money is not working for you while you're asleep, then you're hustling backwards, right? So when you go to sleep, your money should be putting on this uniform, right? Putting on this uniform, getting a little lunch pail, walking out the door, be like, girl, I'm coming back with money. You go ahead, you sleep. You sleep from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. because those are entrepreneur hours, and I'm going to come back with a couple of stacks, right? So it allows for you to put your money to work. Now, how business credit scores work is that you can get a range between 0 and 100, all right? So your business credit score is different than your personal credit score in so much as you can score between 0 and 100. For most small business lenders, they're looking for business credit scores that are 75 and above. All right, so it's important for you to know we're not aiming for 800 on the business credit score side. We're aiming for 75 plus. You can check your credit profile and also your business credit profile and your business credit score at NAV.com. All right, so they allow you to pull your credit profile and also pull your business credit score. Now, when you pull it, how can you begin to make sense of it? The 3 business credit bureaus, y'all say that 3 times fast. The 3 business credit bureaus. Somebody need to drop a beat on it, right? The 3 business credit bureaus, right? My beats are just as good as my melody. But are Experian, Equifax, and Duns and Bradstreet. All right, it's important for you to note that 2, Experian and Equifax report on personal and business credit scores and personal and business credit profiles, and Duns and Bradstreet reports on your business credit score and your business credit profile. One other thing about Duns and Bradstreet: when lenders are pulling your business credit profile and pulling your business credit score, they're going to look at your risk category. They're going to say, like, if we give this woman or we give this man $1,000, is she going to go get some invisible braids, or is she going to go get some inventory, right? That's going to be the question on the table. If we lend her $5,000, is she going on a vacation to Johannesburg, South Africa, or is she using that $5,000 to buy a fleet of company cars, use them on Turo, and multiply her cash flow? So they're going to assess the extent to which you're risky or not. And those 3 categories are high, moderate, and low. Also with Duns and Bradstreet, they're going to make credit limit recommendations. And it's important for you to know that, because the way in which Duns and Bradstreet makes credit limit recommendations, lenders pay attention to that, and they will use that to determine how high your trade line or your credit limits go. The 2 ways in which your credit limit recommendations work is conservative and aggressive. If you have a conservative credit limit recommendation, then that means that your limits are going to be a little bit lower. But if you have an aggressive credit limit recommendation, then that means, you on stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks. So the way in which we're going to approach this lesson is to make sure that you're low risk, and that also you can qualify for a decent credit limit recommendation, right? We want it to be aggressive. We want you to be able to get your hands on the resources that, as entrepreneurs, we sometimes have difficulty putting our hands on. So let's get going. Now, we're going to start talking about the 4 steps to establishing business credit. First, you got to get your business credit household in order. All right, so I'm going to go in the order of priority, and I hope that you're taking notes. If you're taking notes, make sure to drop your notes in the chat box so that your family in here can follow along. The first thing I'm going to say is that you need cash flow. All right, it's important for you to have cash flow. Now, there are some people listening to this live that are saying, I want business credit, I want a $50,000 credit limit, right? I want a lender to go give me a $100,000 loan. You've made what? $0. I want you to understand this. Not every business owner needs to have an LLC. Not every business owner needs to be a corporation. There are some of you listening to this live today, and you simply need to figure out how to sell a product or service for money. That makes you a sole proprietor. Make sure to test your idea out, because where a lot of business owners go wrong is they're scrolling down their Instagram and people are talking about, oh, you need to get business credit. You need to have business credit. They go and apply for business credit and they get denied because they're unable to defend their ability to pay back their money. It's like going to get a credit card but telling them that you don't have any job and no income. Why would anybody lend you money when you don't have money to pay them back? That makes you a what? A high risk. So I want to make sure that you ask yourself the critical question, is your business earning money on a consistent monthly basis? Because if your business is selling a product or service that nobody wants to buy, you do not have a business, you have a hobby. Get your cash flow together, okay? Secondly, in order to apply for business credit, you need to make sure that your business is official. What do I mean by that? You can be official as a sole proprietor, but we want to make sure that your business is registered. So that means an LLC, so a limited liability company, a limited liability partnership, a C corporation, and an S corporation. That means that the state knows your name even outside of tax time. All right, so that means that you have gone and you have registered on the state corporation commission and they have you on the books. If you are a sole proprietor and you have made enough sales each month to justify, right, asking someone for credit, then guess what? It's time for you to take that next step and incorporate your business. Next, you must have an employer identification number. Your employer identification number is like a social security number for your business. You can get that for free at irs.gov. Never pay anyone for an EIN. It is what? free 99. And you should always get your EIN after you register for your business. And the reason for that is when you get your EIN, you register your business name. You want your state to tell you if your business name has been taken by another business owner. And so there have been some instances where people try to do both at once. They get their EIN, they register their business name, and then the state comes back to them and says that the business name is taken, and they have to repeat the process. Give yourself the gift of time, which is a non-replenishable asset. Register your business, get an EIN. Next, you want to register for a Duns and Bradstreet number. All right, that is a 9-digit number, all right, that is issued by one of the business credit bureaus that we talked about earlier. Your Duns and Bradstreet number actually helps you establish a credit profile with one business credit bureau. And if you ever decide to pursue federal contracts, this is going to be a number that is required. Now, in doing my research, there are credit cards. We're going to talk about what's the best business credit card that you should apply for, what's the best net 30, net 60 vendor that you should apply for. A lot of them do not require DUNS numbers, but you want to make sure to get ahead of the game by applying for one anyway, right? So next, let's keep going. We want to make sure that you have your business contact in order. So you want to make sure that you have a physical address. A physical address means that you are not registering a P.O. box. Yes, you can have a P.O. box, but a physical address means that there is a brick and mortar location that is accepting mail on your behalf. Now, if you're like, hey, yo, Keys, right? I don't like to put my address out there, right? I got an ex. I met this young joint on Tinder, right? I was swiping all up here on Bumble, right? And they already, we went to dinner, and the dinner was so good. My conversation was so fluid. They thought my edges was so much flourishing, right? My hair was popping that day. And if I put my business address out there as my actual address where I live, they gonna pull up. So for your physical address, you want to find a brick and mortar address. What I recommend is that you get a registered agent. A registered agent is what's requested during the LLC process anyway, all right? So you want to get a registered agent. A registered agent is an entity that accepts your business mail. They answer phone calls on your behalf from the state or whatever entity has the phone number and also the address. And they make sure that you stay compliant. They make sure that you're paying taxes on time. They're making sure that you're paying filing fees on time. And they're also notifying you in the event that your business is no longer listed with the state. So delisted, okay? You want to make sure that you have an email address. You can use a personal email address, but I highly recommend that you just get a business address. Really easy to get one with GoDaddy for a super low fee. And you want to make sure that you have a business phone number. So a lot of folks go wrong with this, right? So when it comes down to a business phone number, they're like, okay, can I just use my personal phone number? Absolutely not. And the reason why I say that is that when creditors are valuing your credit worthiness as a business owner, they are looking for you to separate your personal and your business. This goes for a personal business account being separate from your business bank account. Also, your personal phone number being separate from your business phone number. And there are services out there that allow you to register for a business phone number for free or cheap. And I'm going to give you 3. The first is Nextiva, all right? So Nextiva is a service that allows for you to use the internet to call people, right? So if you like, you know what, Verizon already got their hand in their pocket. I'm not even gonna talk about Sprint because y'all service don't work 20% of the time. Yes, that was shade, right? I got plenty of friends with Sprint and I'm always like, hello? Hello? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Y'all know how y'all sit over there with Sprint and T-Mobile, no shade. But Nextiva allows for you to call over the internet for people and also receive calls whenever you have a good internet connection. It also allows for you to have a virtual receptionist if you want. It also allows for you to have an automated voice message. Starts at $20 a month. Also, Grasshopper is another one. So the great thing about Grasshopper is you can have an 800 number, you can have an 888 number. They also have like a virtual assistant for an additional fee who can answer your phone for you. You can call over the internet. They start at $26 per month. The third thing is Google Voice. Google Voice is what? Free 99. So you can get a Google Voice number, right? So a Google Voice number is free And the paid plans start at $10 a month. So you're going to have to ask yourself, what type of business phone number do you want to have as an entrepreneur? But that has to be separate and apart from your personal phone number, okay? So you cannot list your personal phone number and business phone number as the same. So again, that's Grasshopper, that's Nextiva. You can also do a Google Voice number. The cheapest one is Google Voice. The most expensive one is Grasshopper at $26 a month, and Nextiva starts at $20 a month. Let's keep going. Give me a heart. This is some good free game. So, business bank account. All right. So you need to have a business bank account, right? And people kind of throw that around a little bit. They're like, oh, you need to go get yourself a business account, girl. And they don't tell you all of the different ways in which you can enter into an agreement with the bank to open an account. I want to make sure that you shop around for different financial institutions that offer you the best rates as a new or established business owner. The first is you want to make sure that you understand the minimum balance. All right. So for example, I looked up Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo starts with a minimum balance of $500 for one of their business bank accounts. If you are a new business owner and you don't have $500 to deposit, then you might not want to start with that. Also, if you only have $500 to deposit, you already know how you are. You got the $500 in there. Sprint phone bill hits, you only talk on that phone 20% of the time because you couldn't hear the person on the other end of the line. No shade. But as soon as that bill hits, you're below 500 and now there's penalties. So look for the minimum, okay? And make sure you go with the business bank account that has a minimum that you can maintain month to month. Second, you want to make sure that you go with the business bank account with monthly fees that you can afford. There may be some business bank accounts that don't have monthly fees, but on average, those monthly fees can range between $10 and $25 per month. So you want to make sure that you understand what those fees are. And finally, depending on how much income your business is generating per month, it is possible for you to find a financial institution that will give you a bonus for opening a business account with them. So there are some business bank accounts that will pay you $300 to $1,000 just to put your business money inside of their financial institution. So I'm sure you're like, hey, yo, Keys, why would they pay me to put my money in their banking institution? Well, here's why. Because when you put your money into their financial institution, they use that money and put it to work. You know how we talked about how business owners, right? Business owners need to tell their money, you can't live here rent free. Hey, money, if you're going to be up in this house, you need to go get yourself a what? A job, a stream of income. So when you deposit your business income into that bank, they're lending it to other people, whether it be mortgages, small business loans, etc. They're putting it to work so the bank can make capital. So they're competing for your business. So if your business has consistent monthly revenue, make sure that you ask, do you have a bonus for me depositing my business income into your bank account? So that's a little known fact that a lot of people don't ask. And as a result, sometimes they miss out on what? Free money. When we talk about free 99, I'm always pulling up. It's how much? Free 99? And it's money? Come on now. Go ahead, make it rain, right? So let's keep going. So we talked about all of the different ways in which you need to establish your business before we start applying for business credit cards and also for Net 30 and Net 60 accounts. All right. Someone did ask a question. I want to make sure that I address this. They said, can I apply for business credit with a DBA? And the answer is no, because normally business owners that have a DBA are sole proprietors. So you are a sole proprietor, which means that you're doing business under your social security number, and a DBA just allows for you to do business as business name, right? So my name is Kezia Williams, but I can do business as, right, the Black Upstart. But that doesn't mean that the Black Upstart has an employer identification number. It has a social security number. You have to have an LLC, an LLP, an S corporation, a C corporation, okay? So I wanted to make sure that I answered that question because I saw it come through on the chat. So let's keep going. Getting a business credit card. All right, so that's one thing that you absolutely want to apply for. So let's talk about it. How do you get a business credit card? All right, so first we want to make sure that we're separating business and personal expenses. If you're going to get a business credit card, That does not mean that you putting Netflix on there, right? So you Netflix and chilling with Bae, right? Y'all just watched the Biggie documentary, right? You done ordered some Moscato Diasti on the way through DoorDash. I don't even know if DoorDash delivers alcohol, right? You done went shopping up there. You up on Dianu, right? You up there on Nubian Human getting you some African print, some Ankara print, because you flexing out of control. You just got a $5,000 business bank card. No, your business bank card must be for business expenses, and you must never use your business bank credit card to pay for personal expenses, because then if something happens to you legally, the courts can automatically seize that account and make sure to pay the debts, okay? So you want to make sure that's office supplies. If you have a cell phone, right, we talked about business phone numbers. If that's underneath an account, right, you're paying that $26 a month with Grasshopper, or that $20 a month with Nextiva, or that $10 a month for Google Voice, right, the upgraded plan, you can make sure to put that on your business credit card and pay that every single month. Your laptop, so we've talked about laptop being a business write-off. If you're paying for a laptop, make sure to pay for it with your business bank card. So essentially, it's your business expenses. That also includes business travel, right? So we talked about the difference between vacation and business travel. If you're going somewhere, you're spending more than 50% of your time doing business, it's not a vacation, it's business travel, baby. So you want to make sure to do that. Second, you can only apply for a business bank card or business credit card if you are an authorized officer. And so what that means is that you have more than 25% ownership in the company, preferably the higher percentage, the better, okay? So you need to be paperwork official. You know how folks be like, hey, what's your name? They be like, oh, my name is Kiki. You're like, no, not what they call you round the way. I'm trying to figure out what's your government name, right? Your GUBMENT, what is your government name, right? So they want to make sure that you're on official paperwork, all right? So are you an authorized officer with the business? Otherwise, you're not going to be able to apply for this benefit. Next, you want to make sure, and this is where a lot of business owners go wrong, you want to make sure that this business credit card is reporting to Experian, Equifax, Duns & Bradstreet, reporting to business credit bureaus and not personal credit bureaus. How do you know? A big reason how you know is if they're asking for your social security number or your employer identification number in order to open the business account on your behalf. Now, sometimes they're going to ask for your personal information, but you want to make sure when they're asking for your employer identification number, like, hey, I'm opening a business bank account, ask them explicitly before you even allow for them to pull your credit. You want to ask them, do you report to business credit bureaus? Because what you don't want to be doing is spending the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months building a credit profile, and it's your personal one and not your business. Okay, so ask them that question before they pull any credit. Next, you must know this. Your personal credit does matter. So when I posted my reels about how to get business credit, that was one of the #1 questions. Are they going to care about my personal credit when I go to apply for a business credit card? If you do not have a business credit profile and you do not yet have a business credit score, then more than likely they're going to ask you to back, right, any overdrafts, right, or any defaults to your account with your personal credit. And so what I recommend is that if you have a 640, preferably a 680 FICO score or higher, then that means that you are ready as a new business owner to go and apply for a business credit card. Ayo Keys, why did you say 680, right? Why is 680 the magical number? Actually, you could say 641 or higher, but I prefer 680 because that means you have a good credit score and more than likely the bank will view you as low risk. It's important for you also to know that you're looking at your FICO score and not your Vantage score. Credit Karma is going to show you your Vantage score, and your Vantage score can be used to get loans for cars, to also get trade lines from credit issuers, but your FICO score is what the bank is going to look for. You get your FICO score from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, right? When you're pulling your personal credit score. So go and get your FICO score. It's important for you to know the difference, especially if you're using free platforms, in order to understand where your credit posture exists. You also want to make sure that you have under 30% utilization with your personal credit. So go add up all of your balances, and I want you to make sure that you know what your credit utilization is. In fact, Credit Karma, though it shows your Vantage score, you go in there, they'll show you what your overall utilization is across all credit cards you have, or even specifically revolving credit that you have. And revolving credit is just the credit that you have where you can charge up to a certain amount, pay it off, and still have access to it. So let's say you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit. You can spend all the way up to $1,000, pay it back down to $0, and still have access to $1,000, okay? When we're talking about credit that is not revolving, that's more so like student loans, right? So Department of Education, right? Sally Mae, Sally Mae called your phone today, right? Let you know that you paid off your loan. We're speaking things into existence over here, right? So when we're talking about credit that is not revolving, that's credit that was lent to you for your student loan, for your car loan, for your mortgage, that once you pay it back, you don't get automatic access to that limit, right? So once you buy a car for $26,000, you pay it back for $26,000, right? They don't give you $26,000 to go buy a new car. You have to apply for a new loan. So we're looking at revolving credit. Next, they may ask you for a personal guarantee. What does that mean? That means that if you default, right? So like if you're using your business credit card, you charge it up to $15,000 and then you can no longer pay that balance back. They may seize your personal assets in order to make good on the debt. So they may ask you for that personal guarantee, and as they see that your business is beginning to build credit, that you have, you're paying your bill, right, your credit card bill on a daily basis, or you're paying it off every single month, which is ideal, they will remove, right, they're going to remove that personal guarantee, and now, right, you don't have to worry about your personal assets being at risk. And finally, even if they do not use your personal credit to guarantee a business bank card, here's what you should know. There are some credit issuers that if you are 30 or 60 days late, will absolutely report those late payments to the business credit bureaus and to the personal credit bureaus. So there are some business owners that might say, I'm Gucci, right? I got a 680 credit score, right? I applied for a business bank card. I got approved, right? You're doing business great for 5 years and you pay something 60 days late. There are some financial institutions that will report that late payment on your business and on your personal credit. So you also want to make sure that you ask that question, right? Do you report late payments on personal and business? Bank of America and Citibank report late payments on your personal credit and also on your business credit, all right? So that's important. So let's keep going. When you apply for a business bank card, they're going to ask for your full business legal name. So again, that's why it's important for you to have an LLC, an LLP, or corporation. So you want to make sure that you put the name of your business as it is listed on your tax paperwork. All right. So for example, if you have a nonprofit, more than likely you were registered as nonprofit name and corporation. So like one of my nonprofits that I own is called Capital Cause. Capital Cause is what you see when you go to our website. But Capital Cause Corporation is how we're legally registered on file with our state and also with the IRS. All right. So you want to make sure that's your legal business name, type of business. So make sure you know your NAICS code. So in what industry do you operate in? You can find your NAICS code at NICS.com. All right. So NAICS.com. That's how you find out which code relates to the industry in which you do business. They're going to ask for your employee identification number, your business category, the number of years that you're in business. They're going to ask for the number of employees. It's okay if you don't have any employees. So if you have 0 employees, that does not mean that you'll be denied for a bank business card. And they're also going to ask for your business address. And that's where the registered agent information comes in handy. All right. So this is for business owners that have no income. Right? You have no income, or perhaps your income is consistent. I'm sorry, your income is consistent. So let me backtrack that. That was for business owners that do have business income monthly who are seeking to open a business bank credit card. What if your business has no income? Right? So that's the next one. If your business has not grossed any income, how can you get a bank card so that you can have access to net 30 and net 60 accounts? Here's some free game. You can apply for a secured business card. And essentially what that means is that you're going to put a little cash down on a card, and the financial institution in which you're working is then going to establish a limit based off of the deposit that you've given them. You can spend up to that limit, right? And make sure that you pay that back every single month on time. So let's say you want a secured business bank card, credit card for $500. Maybe you put down a deposit of $750. Okay, so they say, okay, you put down a deposit of $750. We're going to give you a business credit card with a credit limit of $500, and you can spend up to $500. So we recommend you only spend 30% of your overarching limit. That's how you get started if your business has no income. Look for secured business credit cards. All right. The deposit that you put down is refundable. So if you decide after 2 months that entrepreneurship is not for you, then guess what? You can go to that financial institution. You can ask for your money back because your money is guaranteeing your credit limit. What are some good secure credit cards for you to consider? This is also good for those people who have low credit scores. So let's say you're like, hey, yo, Keys, I said at the beginning of 2021 that this is going to be my, this is going to be my 700 credit score year. But girl, we only in March. We got 12 months. We in March, girl. I'm still over here below 640, right? God ain't through with me yet. He ain't through with me yet. I'm going to be up there in 700, but just give me some time, right? What are some secure business cards that you can get with less than a 640 credit score and also with no income? So there's a couple, actually there's 3 that I can recommend. So one is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has a secure credit card. The other one is Open Sky. So this is Open Sky secure credit card with Visa, and then also a Discover It card. So those are 3 secure business credit cards if you have no income and you have a credit score lower than 640. Okay? So let's keep going. Is this valuable to you all? If so, send me a heart. I'm seeing we got 700 people in here. So I hope that this free game is helping you level up and get you prepared to get your first business credit card. And now we're going to talk about how you can work with vendors who can give you a net 30 or also a net 60 account and what that actually means. Now, before we go there, I want to say this. One of the tips for your business credit card, you want to keep your utilization low. So just because you have a $15,000 limit doesn't mean you spend to $15,000. Only spend up to about 30%. And ideally speaking, pay your balance off every single month in full. And also, again, make sure to keep your business and your personal separate. Next, let's talk about net 30 and net 60 accounts. So having a business credit card is not the only way that you can build business credit. You can also work with vendors, okay? So you can work with some vendors who will work with you in order to build your credit muscle, all right? And I'm going to give you 3. I'm going to give you 2 net 30s. I'm going to give you 1 net 60 that could potentially give you access to a $5 million trade line. Hold on, let me put this here right here so I can throw it back. $5 million trade line. Boop. That's how I feel when I just kind of drop the proverbial mic. But let's keep going. So there are some vendors out there. So vendors are businesses that offer you services, right? So in this time we're talking about B2B. So businesses that offer products and services to other businesses, right? So instead of paying for that product or service with your personal debit card or your business credit card, they allow you to pay on credit, right? So you can pay with a net 15, a net 30, a net 60, a net 90. And what that means is that they will go ahead and they will provide the product or service for you, and you pay them back within a certain time frame. If it's net 15, pay them back in 15 days. If it's net 90, pay them back in 90 days, okay? The longer the vendor gives you, right, the longer they give you to pay them for the products or services that they provide, the higher normally your business credit is, right? Also, the more money you have to work with as a business owner. So most business owners aspire for net 60 and net 90 because what that means is that, let's say you own a t-shirt business and you need inventory, right? So you need 150 t-shirts, but you don't anticipate making profit until 28 days in. Well, they can go ahead and mail you the t-shirts. You can hold the inventory, right? Go ahead, put it on Shopify, right? Put it on Printful, Printify, whatever. Go ahead, put the product out there, sell it, earn your money back, right? And then pay the vendor. You bought the shirts on credit wholesale. You sold it for retail. You used your revenues to pay back the vendor and you kept your profits to grow your business. So that's the value of having a net 60, a net 90, and even a net 30 account, is that you have more time to put their products and services to work to up your cash flow and your profitability, okay? So let's talk about net 30 accounts that you can get as new business owners. So I looked up two, and I'm going to tell you what the terms are. So you're a new business owner, you don't have any credit, right? We already talked about the business credit score being between 0 to 100 and a good score being 75. But let's say you're just starting, so you're at 0, right? Started from the bottom, but we're going to go up here. The first is Shirtsy, all right? So Shirtsy. I said this in my Reels video, but I want to give you additional information about Shirtsy and what they require. So Shirtsy is a direct-to-garment on-demand printing company. So think about like Printful and Printify. So these are people who sell apparel. So it could be t-shirts, hats, bags. You sell apparel, but you don't necessarily work with a local vendor and fulfill your orders yourself. Fulfillment meaning that you package them and you go to the post office and you mail them. Essentially what you do is you set up a storefront, right? And you use a third-party fulfillment service to actually only ship the t-shirts and hats and bags that you sell. So you essentially don't keep inventory. You only profit on the inventory that you sell. That's what Shirtsy is. But what makes Shirtsy such a good option for new business owners looking to build credit is that when you open an account with Shirtsy, what they can do is they could go ahead and begin to build your business credit for you by sending you inventory that you can ship yourself or shipping some of the inventory on demand through their services. There's no personal credit check with Shirtsy. So that's why I have them. They will not pull your personal credit. So there will not be any hard inquiries on your credit. And hard inquiries, as you can know, can drop your score anywhere from 2 to 6 points. So there will not be any personal credit checks. You do, though, pay for net 30 terms. So with Shirtsy, they will charge you $99 in order for them to report your credit, right? So your ability to pay them back in 30 days to the business credit bureaus. They report to all three business credit bureaus. So that's Experian, Equifax, and Duns & Bradstreet. Typically, the qualifications are you have to be a U.S.-based company. Your company has to be at least 90 days old. All right. So that means you may have to start, you might have to just start hustling on your own, right? On Shopify with your online store. And then after you're in business for 3 months, hop over to Shirtsy and now you can begin to build your business credit. So your business has to be 3 months old. You have to have no derogatory credit or delinquency. So if they do pull your business credit and you already have an account with another vendor and it's delinquent, Shirtsy is not going to approve you. Also, they're going to ask for your employee identification number. You can provide a DUNS number, but it's optional. And their credit limits, right? So their trade lines normally start at $2,000. So you apply with Shirtsy, and usually the range with Shirtsy is between $800 and $2,000, right? So that's where you're usually starting with Shirtsy. They also approve your business credit in between 24 to 72 hours, okay? So let's keep going. Next is Crown Office Supplies, right? So this is if you got a printer in your house, fax machine. Does anybody ever send fax? Not F-A-C-T-S, but F-A-X, right? Any printer paper that you need, pens, pencils, any office supplies that you have. Crown Office Supplies should be your go-to. They do ship office supplies nationwide. They offer a net 30 accounts. And they have a $99 annual fee. They do report to all three credit bureaus, and they can offer you approval within 24 hours, which is great. So they will respond within 24 hours whether you're approved or not. They're U.S. only, and they do require your business to be at least 3 months old. So it has to be 90 days old. So again, start your business, begin to make sales. We already know that creditors are looking forward to you being able to prove that you can pay them back if they lend you money. And you must own more than 25% of the company. Your EIN is required. And they also offer trade lines between $800 and $5,000. How's that, right? $5,000. So that means if you about to plan an event and you need a whole bunch of supplies and you don't have $5,000 sitting there, but you're going to have $5,000 in 90 days plus, then guess what? Crown Office Supplies can potentially provide you up to that trade line, all right? Now, here's the thing with Crown Office Supplies that Shirtsy doesn't have. They do require a $30 purchase. So you will have to spend $30 on a stapler if that's, if that's where your spirit moves you, scissors, pens, pencils, erasers, pencil sharpeners. However you want to spend your first $30, it's a requirement that you spend on their site. All right? Quill is another supply provider as well that provides net 30. For new business owners, this is the lowest hanging fruit. Crown Office Supplies and Shirtsy. At this point, you want to start with net 30, baby steps, okay? So you want to start with net 30 accounts that you can get with low hanging fruit. This will help you build your business credit slowly. Now, let's say it's been a year and now you're ready for net 60, right? So someone has lent you money, or perhaps they have allowed you to buy supplies on credit and now you don't have to pay them back for 60 days. And again, you could put your money to work. One of the net 60 accounts is Brex Card to e-commerce. All right, so that's what it's called. It's called Brex Card for e-commerce. And this I brought up because they allow up to $5 million in credit to business owners. In fact, they can approve you for credit that is 100% more than what you earn each month. So let's say your business is earning $5,000 per month. With Brex Card for e-commerce, they can approve you for $10,000 a month in credit, which shakes out to about $120,000 a year. But let's walk through it. They have interest-free financing. Social Security number is not required to get access to this credit line, so they will not pull your personal credit. They will not charge you interest on financing. There's no hidden fees, and essentially how they get paid is through the benefits that they provide to small business owners. But there is a requirement. Your business has to be 1 year old. So your business has to be 1 year old, and your business has to gross at least $50,000 annually in revenue. And they're going to use your monthly sales, your monthly gross sales, in order to determine how much credit they lend you. All right, so this is a credit line, right? So you know how credit cards, you have usually 30 days to pay them back for any money that you've borrowed from them. For this particular credit card, you have 60 days to pay them back for any money that you have that they have loaned to you. So if you make $5,000 a month, which is $60,000 a year, then essentially you could potentially qualify for up to a credit limit of $120,000, which is 100% of what you make, okay? So that's what makes this something to consider, all right? They do report to Duns and Bradstreet and Experian. So they report to 2 of the 3 business credit bureaus. So I wanted to give you just some contrast between net 30, which is the low-hanging fruit, and when your business reaches a year old, then look at a net 60, all right? A net 60 opportunity that gives you money to grow with. And this is especially important for Black entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs of color who have difficulty, right, visiting banks and getting banks to pay them exactly what they're worth, right? So credit, right, your business credit may give you access to the resources that banks and financial institutions will not. Now, a few things that you should know, all right? So you definitely want to take these tips, is that you need to review your invoice. So usually when you get your invoice and it says net 30, net 60, net 90, most people they jump their eyes down to the total amount due. You want to look at, is your net 30 calendar days or is it business days? Because if it's business days, you might have more opportunity, more days to pay it back versus calendar days, all right? So make sure that you know the difference so that you know when your balance is due. The other thing is there may be a cash discount for early payments. So some people miss that. So it may be you charge, $5,000, but if you can pay it back in 15 days instead of 30 days, they may give you $50 back or $100 back, right? Simply for paying it off early. So make sure that you ask the question, is there a cash discount for early payment? Also, the vendor's name is not going to be shown on your business credit. So for a lot of you, you might pull your business credit and you might say, oh, I just applied for business credit, a trade line with Shirtsy or Crown Office Supplies, but I don't see it on my business credit. What's going on? Give it a couple months. Give it 2 to 3 months in order to appear on your business credit, and it's going to appear under the business category and not a business name. So you might not see Shirtsy, but you might see that you have a trade line under an apparel provider, right? So it might be apparel. It might be office supplies, right? So they're going to bill it under a business category and not a business name. Also, you may not be able to pay instantly, and that's important. So, with your credit card, you can log on and you can use your debit card in order to pay. For some of these vendors, you may have to mail in a check. Yeah, so you might have to go to the post office. You might have to submit a check. It might just be that type of situation. And then finally, new accounts will drop your business credit score almost immediately. But it's a temporary drop, right? So it's almost like when someone pulls your credit, it will be a 2 to 3 point hit if it's a hard inquiry. But at least in this instance, the hit it's temporary, right? So your business credit score will rebound. And that's important because sometimes we get super excited about the money that we have access to, but we also have to know how to manage it. So with that being said, y'all, we talked about business credit, right? So we talked about how to make the impossible our starting point. How can we use business credit to get access to resources, right? Get access to cash flow, right? Get access to credit as new business owners, as business owners that don't have income, as business owners that may have low credit scores. We talked about the credit cards we should get. We talked about the best secure business cards we should get. We talked about net 30, net 60 accounts, and we also talked about how to set up the best business bank accounts and also the best business phone numbers. I want to thank you all for joining my Wealth Wednesday. I think by far this has been my longest one, but I also think it's been one of my most important ones. If you miss any part of this live, I'm going to be sharing it on YouTube. God willing, somebody send a prayer that they don't delete this. And until next Wednesday, I wish you all the best. Always make your impossible your starting point. Never see obstacles, only see opportunities. And the only way you lose is if you quit. Win or learn. I love you all. Have a good night.